Welcome to the CrossPoints podcast.
We are back. Orah and David's podcast at CrossPoints. Woohoo!
Woohoo! We're back. Still in quarantine.
Edition.
Yes. Doing well. So, Orah, how are things going with you in the stay-at-home order?
It's getting, the days are getting longer. You're just trying to get through one day at a time at this point. Not looking forward to the next day, but just getting through the day and then finding the positives in the day is where I am.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I was telling my wife the other day, or actually yesterday, I said, you know what? I think I'm done. To which she said, well, you got another month or so to go.
That's how I feel. I feel like, is this forever? It feels like it's forever right now. Have we been on it? And I think this is like day 36 or something for me. So I'm exhausted. It
feels like day 100. I know this is what a lot of people are like, okay, stop it. Stop talking about this. We get it already. I know.
True. It feels like forever.
It does feel like better. Ugh, whatever.
We need to reminisce about better times, David.
Yes. You know what? Let's do that. I was thinking about this phrase. Have you heard this? This is love in the time of coronavirus. Have you heard that phrase?
No, like love in the time of cholera?
Yes. It's a phrase that's out there. Love in the time of coronavirus.
That is funny. Really
now, you're a book reader. Have you read that book?
No.
Oh, okay. Why?
Well, you know how I feel about classics.
I guess, but it is kind of a romance book, is what they say.
True.
So I thought maybe you might have read that because,
I'm pro-romance now.
I mean, doesn't it just seem like...
I feel like just from the title that it doesn't end well, like just from Love in the Time of Cholera. And technically a romance book is required to have a happily ever after ending, or it's not actually a romance. So...
Well, can I tell you something? I didn't read the book, but I read through kind of the CliffsNotes version.
Ooh, okay.
And it does have a happy ending.
Oh, I would not have known that.
I know. I wouldn't have guessed that either. But from what I understand now, somebody out there may correct me because, again, I didn't read the book. I just read the CliffsNotes version of it. But I think they ended it in a positive, kind of fun, happy, way or whatever.
You're actually wondering, is love in the time of coronavirus going to end in a positive way? You need some foreshadowing.
I think that is absolutely true. I was thinking about, we talked about in our last podcast about weddings, and we said we should talk about our weddings at some point and kind of what that looks like. And so I'm actually, I don't know if you know this or not, but I am going to be marrying my niece.
Meaning performing the ceremony.
Thank you. I'm not marrying her. Let's be clear. Let's be clear about that. I am performing. My kids do that to me all the time. I don't know why I say it. My wife does it too. I don't know why I say that. But I am performing, let's be clear, I'm performing the ceremony for my niece who's marrying this great guy up from Minnesota. And so...
So is it like a virtual wedding or where it's less than 10 people? You're going there?
So we're performing. So this is Wednesday. We're filming. We don't usually say when we film, but we're filming Wednesday. This is going to go live Thursday, tomorrow. But she is getting married tomorrow. So I'm going to perform the wedding ceremony tomorrow.
Via Zoom or it's here in Kansas City or
You know what? We are going to perform it with just her and the groom and the photographer and me. And that's it.
Wow. My friend just got married and they had their wedding and they cast it or whatever. I don't know why I say it it's a...
Come on. They Zoomed it.
But they Instagram lived it, but they had less than 10 people there. The pastor was there and then the bridesmaids were standing. It was her three sisters and they were standing 6 feet apart. They were all staggered around. It looked great. It was great. She had a great attitude about it, but it was just it'll be great pictures because that'll totally remember. People will be like, oh my gosh, they got married during coronavirus.
They will never ever. I mean, not that you'll forget your wedding date, but I mean, it's one of those once in a lifetime kind of things, right? Yeah, totally. Once in a lifetime event. But yeah, so she's not sure exactly. I mean, it's the day before, and she's still trying to figure out exactly where she wants to get married. She'd like to get married outside, but the forecast is supposed to be cold and dreary and maybe rain or snow. And so I don't know. She's gonna play it by ear. And I said, I'll go wherever you want. We'll make this wedding happen for you. So, but she had been planning this wedding for quite a while, and there's a lot of different brides and grooms out there who have spent lots of money and time. And so I was looking online at the Knot. I mean, that's the most, formidable force out there to tell us kind of all the stats out there. But they've said that 95% of all brides and grooms that were planning to get married this spring, right, which is like peak wedding season, right, April, May, June, 95% of them have postponed their wedding for 1 full year.
Wow. Hope this doesn't happen again next year.
But I was thinking to myself, man, if I was a young couple to wait, and I don't know about you, but when I was ready to get married, I was like ready to get married.
Oh yeah. I was like, all right, let's do it. I think we were engaged for like 5 or 6 months. So I was like, all right, come on, let's get it going.
Let's make this happen, right? Yeah. So I can't imagine like putting it off for another year. I was reading some stories about that. And I just thought, oh my goodness, that is just so bad.
It's so long. I'd be like, come on, I don't want to do it. Let's get on with our lives.
I know. It makes my heart hurt a little bit. So
I know. It's sad.
So if I get some photos, and my niece lets me, I might put them here in this spot so you guys can see some of the photos of what we did.
Can't wait to see how it turns out.
I know.
It's gonna be great.
I'm so pumped about it. I think it's gonna be fun.
I want to hear a little bit about like your wedding. Like, what year did you get married?
Well, let's see. It was in 1991, Orah. We were in the early 90s.
And you guys were like 16, really?
Well, Heather and I met when we were 16 years old.
You did?
We did. We met in youth group in church.
At CrossPoints?
At CrossPoints, Full Faith, back in the day, yes. Nice. We were high school sweethearts. We spent time in the youth ministry. That was just kind of our world.
Was it like cool and kosher for you guys to be like dating or whatever in the youth group? Was it like, no, we don't let youth group members all like date each other?
Yes, thank the Lord that our season in the youth ministry at that particular time, it was, yes, thumbs up, you can date in youth ministry.
Okay.
Now, down the road, we had this one youth pastor, and he was very much anti-dating. You had to court, and you couldn't like date. And, it was so bad. I mean, it was so bad all around. It hurt lots of kids.
Oh boy. It's like the best place to meet somebody at church too. Like you're like, wait, shouldn't we be dating somebody who has like-minded philosophies?
You would think that would be the case. But anyways, we were able to date. It was great and wonderful and lots of fun. And so we dated for 5 years.
Okay. Nice.
So we were 21.
It seems like so long, but then if you met when you were 16, it's not very like you're like, oh, that's not long. But you're like, you dated for 5 years?
Yeah. But you think about like, okay, you're dating for 5 years and now you're 20, 21 years old. Now it feels like an eternity because you've known each other so long.
Yes.
So that's why my heart like breaks for these guys who are like, have to postpone for a whole nother year because they had, the venue and the caterer and the photographer and the flowers. And, just awful. I was reading this story. I'm going to digress for a second. I was reading this story that kind of went viral about this couple who had planned to get married in New York. Have you seen this?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. So this couple ended up getting married on the streets in New York. Did you see that?
Walking, like, because they're empty?
Okay, no. So, of course, their venue got canceled because it turned into some kind of field hospital or something.
Oh, wow.
And they were just totally devastated, but they had all their plans about moving in and all this kind of stuff, but they wanted to get married. And so the city closed down the marriage bureau. So nobody was doing ceremonies at all.
Oh, wow.
No, okay. Well, they had already had their certificate, but they were going to go to the justice of the peace because their pastor, for some reason, wasn't able to do it. So they're calling all around, and they found out that a friend of a friend was licensed by the state to do weddings.
Oh.
And so they went over to the sidewalk outside of his apartment because they were social distancing. And he leaned out the window and read their vows while they did the whole ceremony.
That's cute.
Isn't that cute?
I like that. That's cute.
That was pretty
Romance
fun.
finds a way.
Yes, love finds a way. Exactly. Anyway, so ours was not quite that romantic. We actually we got married April 20th, 1991.
Ooh, coming up.
That's coming up. Orah, I'm almost afraid to say that 29 years.
Wow. David, that's almost as old as I am. Let's just be honest.
Can I say this? We were driving in the car the other day, and somehow you came up and the podcast came up, and one of my boys said something about how they wanted to know how old you were. And I said, well, she could be my daughter. And they were like, no way, Dad, there's no way.
They're like, wait, but she's like way older than us. What the heck?
They were trying to compute that, kind of how that worked. So anyways, pretty fun.
I know.
So we got married outside in Luce Park here in Kansas City.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Outside wedding, and the day started off in the morning just, overcast, gray, the clouds rolled in, but we were committed to doing the outside wedding.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So we did the wedding. It was kind of a little bit chilly. We had like 250 people out there in the Luce Park. Had this a big elaborate. I'll put some. We actually have some video. I'll put some video in there.
To congratulate and introduce to you the Joneses.
Had this big elaborate deal, and we got married. It's all overcast and gray, and the ceremony was wonderful and beautiful. It was an explosion of like Heather's bridesmaids and their dresses and all that was all floral patterns. So floral was really big back then. So it was an explosion of flowers.
This is really funny, David, because I got married outside and my bridesmaids were all wearing floral dresses.
No way. I want to talk about, now what year did you get married?
2011.
In 2011. Okay. So a little bit different.
I know. We have the same wedding though. That's funny.
I'm sure it's the same. I'm sure it's exactly the same. Anyway, so we get married, and as soon as we say I do, and we walk and we go back to the church for a reception, the sun comes out. It's a beautiful, glorious, wonderful spring day. We missed it.
That is so funny. You were so close to having a gorgeous. Well, I'm sure actually like overcast wedding pictures are really pretty. So
you know what? That was true. It was better for the photography for sure. So now I didn't realize you got married outside as well.
I did. Yeah. I got married on a Thursday in California. At like a park that just like overlooked the ocean. It's more expensive to get married on the beach. So why not just like rent a park or whatever, that's just right over the beach.
Now, why? I didn't realize. So they actually charge you to get married on the beach?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I don't know. You do.
Okay. I had no idea. I just figured it was a public beach and you could just, get some friends.
I know.
No.
Pay for it.
Okay. So you're at a park. How many, did you guys have a ton of guests?
The morning that we were supposed to get married.
No.
And so we didn't have that many people at our wedding. I think we had like under 50 people probably.
Okay.
And we just texted everybody like, it's going to be like an hour later. And then like an hour later, we're like, maybe 30 more minutes. Maybe like we just kept like just moving at that.
That's so awesome that you had that size of wedding and texting that you could just, people could kind of roll with it. That's awesome.
It was really funny. And everybody was like really scrambled. I remember my mom was like super stressed. Like, should we move it inside and everything? And I was just like, we're getting married outside. Let's just
we are
grab umbrellas if you need it. Like,
Oh, that's awesome. You're the kind of person, if it had happened during this coronavirus, you were like, we're getting married on the sidewalk outside. I don't care.
We are getting married. Let's go.
That's awesome. So how long had you and Phil been dating at the time?
Oh boy. No, I think like 2.5 years maybe or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we got engaged like almost 2 years after we started dating, and then we were engaged for like 6 months or something like that.
Okay, now I got to ask because I have no idea. Did Phil do any kind of big proposal? You know, kind of proposals are a big thing now. They were not a big deal when I proposed to Heather. I mean, you know, now it's super elaborate and the whole deal.
No, and it's really like not his style. He's not a grand gesture type of person.
Okay.
Which like even like thinking of him doing a big proposal kind of cracks me up. That'd be really funny. No, we just went on a walk in his parents' neighborhood, and just went on a walk, and then he proposed on the walk.
That's so nice. Well, I don't have much of a better story myself. We were in a prayer chapel right before church service and a Sunday night, and I got on my knees in the prayer chapel. So, you know, but the
strikes, you know.
The backstory of that, though, is that I had taken her out to the park, Shawnee Mission Park, and I thought, how wonderful would it be to get engaged outside in this beautiful park? So I went out on the park, but my wife is not an outdoorsy person at all. Mm-hmm. So the whole time we're walking in the park, I've got the ring in my pocket ready to find this perfect spot. And she's complaining the whole time about, I just hate walking this outside. I hate the forest. I hate this. So I was like, well, we're not going to do it outside.
Oh, that's so great. That's so funny.
That's me being young and dumb and not knowing what she likes.
Also, what'd you say?
Nope, go ahead.
We were on a little outdoor path also, like just like it's like a waterfall, like a short little couple feet thing that we were walking by, and I was like, oh, this is really pretty. But I don't remember anything he said. Like, I think I blacked out when he started talking, so I have no idea what he said. Now,
did you kind of have the feeling that it was coming?
Ish. I mean, like, it was pretty much like, because I didn't live in like when he moved back home to Kansas City from where we went in college in Tulsa, I came with him, and the only reason I would come with him is if we were gonna get married. Like, it was like pretty much like, are we gonna marry each other? Because like I'm not gonna move to Kansas City or not. So I knew that we were like on the path.
Yes, this was getting serious here, and so
totally.
for
I'm
sure.
Pretty straightforward. Like, we started dating, it was like, do you like me or not? Because I'm not gonna like hang out with you if you don't like me. So like,
you did not. You were cracking.
Straightforward personality.
Okay, and I haven't asked this. So, did you have very many boyfriends before Phil?
No, none, 0.
What?
Yeah.
You have got to be kidding. So he's your first and only.
First and only. Yep. Wow. I was like pretty strict. Like, I didn't really want to date until I wanted to get married. So I was like, when I feel like I'm like close to the age where I'm like interested in like pursuing somebody to marry, then I'll start dating, and I'm not going to date before then. It's kind of like, I'm an old soul. What can I say?
You are, Orah, you are an old soul. Okay, so the fans want to know. I'm sure they're dying to ask this question. So how did Phil ask you out, and why did you say yes? And how did you guys meet?
Okay, we met at college. We went to Oral Roberts in Tulsa, and we were just friends for years. I mean, but we went on a missions trip to Zambia together on the same missions team. So that's kind of how we became friends. Okay. And then we were friends for a couple of years, and
now hold it. Seriously, during that time, you did not think about him in any kind of romantic way. And it was,
I mean, I'm sure I was definitely like attracted to him for sure, but like not, no. Mm-mm.
But no dates and nothing like that.
Nothing like that. I liked plenty of other gentlemen. He liked other girls like before that. Before any of that. So yeah, we were just friends. And then a couple years later, we were like, we were like more flirty and stuff. And I had like, I'd kind of been in like a flirty friendship before that, like that didn't turn into anything. And like kind of burned me, and I was not going to do that again. I was like, no, that was like such a waste of time. We either should have dated or not dated that person. That just wasted so much like emotional.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to do that with Phil. So I was like, that's how we started dating. One night I just said, listen, I'm not like going to do it this way. Do you like me or do you not like me? You just tell me, because otherwise I'm not going to like continue this.
Hold it. So you brought it up.
I did.
Oh my gosh. So are you going to date me or not?
Yeah, that's it. That's how it occurred. And he was like, yeah, I do like you. And I was like, great. Let's. And then we met for lunch the next day. And he was like, so do you think we would date, or do you think like we like aren't compatible? And I was like, yeah, I think we should try it. And that was it. We've been together ever since.
Wow. That is so fascinating.
Our love story.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So Heather and I met in Hawaii, of all places.
No way.
We were on a youth missions trip.
Missions trips. Look at us in missions trips.
2 missions trip meetings right here. You and so same kind of thing. We did these missions trips where we would do ministry on the beach. We would do these dramas, all this kind of stuff. And so there were 56 teenagers on this trip. So there was a ton of kids.
Wow.
And I had been in the youth group, and I was one of kind of like a student leader in the youth ministry. And I knew everybody, but Heather had just moved from Missouri. And so she was brand new to the whole youth ministry.
Okay.
So she was in on this trip, and I like instantly fell head over heels for her.
Okay. Immediate attraction.
Immediate. But my best friend's name's John. He and I roomed together, and all the girls liked him. Like I was the nerd and he was the stud, right? Oh, yeah. And so Heather would talk with both of us, and I went to our room one night, and I'm walking around. It's this small little room, and I'm walking around the room, and I'm just like, John, listen, all the girls like you. All the girls like you. Listen, I really like Heather. Would you please stay away from her?
Let me have her, please. Is it too much to ask?
And he's like, bro, I like her as a friend. I don't have any kind of thoughts like that. And I said, okay, fine. And so then I was so shy that my cousin was on the trip at the same time. And she went up to Heather and she said, listen, I know you don't like David, but don't break his heart.
Oh my gosh.
And she didn't know kind of what was going on. And then when she heard that, she started talking to me. And then we started, it was from that trip.
Well, apparently he likes me, so.
Anyway, young love.
I know, so cute. Okay, David, I want to know like top 3 best parts of your wedding, or 2 best parts, up to you, and maybe top or worst 2 parts of your wedding.
Ooh, of our wedding ceremony?
Your wedding day, the whole day. Top best 2, worst 2.
Okay, this is going to sound strange, but this is a really vivid memory. I'm driving with my groomsmen from like Shawnee, where we were living, to Luce Park.
Okay.
And I remember just the euphoria, the excitement of driving with my friends in the car, knowing that I'm going to get married. Like it was just a fun, super fun moment.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. The other moment, of course, I think probably most guys are going to say this, but I was standing with the 2 pastors that were going to be performing the ceremony, and Heather is way off in the distance. And because it's at Luce Park, she's quite a ways away, and I hadn't seen her. And she walks out underneath these, if you've been to Luce Park, you see these like stone kind of trellises. And she walks out, and it's the first time I've seen her, and she's in her dress and the veil and the whole thing with her dad. And it's just like one of those images you'll never, ever forget. I was like, oh, gotcha right there.
So cute.
So fun. Yeah. So those are probably my 2 top memories.
I like that. What about your worst part of your wedding?
Well, the worst part was when I was helping kind of set up the chairs for the ceremony, and it looked like it was going to rain. And I was terrified that it was going to totally ruin the wedding, that we were going to have to move everybody. What's going to happen? How is all that going to happen? Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Then I'll say this might be the PG part of things, but the one thing that I was like really kind of worried about was the honeymoon night.
That's nerve-wracking.
Because, we were virgins, right? I mean, and so I was terrified a little bit.
Stressful. Very stressful.
Yeah, very stressful. So I get that with young love. So,
yeah.
I try to help couples really talk through that whole process. So
communication is key.
I just had that conversation actually this week with the bride. Okay, Orah, what about you?
Okay, top parts. Okay, we did like a silly wedding dance. Like we danced, and then like on the chorus of the song, we would like break into a silly choreograph thing that we like came up with, but nobody knew. It was a surprise.
You're one of those couples.
And we tried to make it like really silly and fun, and but it was like a surprise. So like getting that part done was like one of our highlights because we were both like so nervous about it and like stressed. And like as soon as the wedding dance was done, we were both like, yes, we're married and we're finished. Like we can relax now. It's so nice.
Do you remember the song? What was the song you did it to?
Oh yeah, it was Lovely Day by Bill Withers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but yeah. Okay, so I gotta ask, do you have any pictures or video or anything of this?
Yes, I have a video of it, David. I need to like confirm with Phil that I can share it, but I should.
Okay. All right, Phil, if you're listening, come on, buddy. You gotta let us. That'd be so. If so, we're gonna put that on there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's kind of that was really fun.
It's yeah. Okay. What else? What else you got?
And then I liked my wedding was out of the box, like not really, but like I didn't have the flower, or the bridesmaids weren't carrying flowers. They were carrying like helium white balloons. And then when we did our first kiss, when they said you can kiss the bride, everybody let go of their balloons. So they like went all up into the sky.
Oh.
And I thought it was kind of fun. We had a couple and then as soon as we got married, my maid of honor had like a regular camera, not like phone, because selfies weren't like really a thing, in her, like with her. And then we turned and like took a selfie together, like our first picture right when we got married.
You were ahead of the curve with the selfie.
And then we turned, and like every bridesmaid with the groomsmen, they would go right before they like walked back down the aisle, and they would take a picture. And then so we have all those pictures, and I love those. Are like my favorite. I love those.
Oh, we're gonna have to put some of those pictures up. That is so fun. I love that. That's super creative. That's totally you, Orah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Totally you. Yeah.
But overall, I think weddings are stressful, and Phil would say the same. Like it was just there's family. It was like really stressful day. And we were thrilled when it was over. We were thrilled to be like leaving and be like, we did it. It's done.
So I got to ask, where'd you guys go on your honeymoon?
We went on a cruise to a couple places in Mexico.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, because we were married in California, so it's kind of like an easy trek. What did you do?
Well, we went back to where we met. We went to Hawaii.
Ah, nice.
Oh, so nice. So we'd saved up money and all this kind of fun stuff. So we got to do all kinds of great stuff and just hang out. It was a blast. Love Hawaii.
So fun.
It's a great place. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun because like for ours, we did like a bunch of excursions of like things that we like never had seen each other do before. Like horseback riding, which I hate. And he loves. So it was like all these like funny, like that we didn't know. We'd never been horse riding while we've been together. So there was a lot of stuff like that.
Did you find out that you didn't like horseback riding like on your honeymoon?
Oh yeah. I was like, this is the worst. This is fun in movies. This is not fun.
You had all these romantic ideas and you're like, nope, I'm done.
Like you're going to be galloping and like doing all this. Oh my gosh, this is not fun.
Oh, that is hilarious. Now, did you do this on the beach? Like the horse thing on the beach?
We did. Yeah, we did. And like the guy who was like our trainer, I don't know what he was, but he kept staying back with me, and Phil would gallop off, and then he was like hitting on me the whole time. It was hilarious. It was like the worst. My. But Phil was just like having the time of his life galloping on the beach, and I was like, this is get me off of this.
So I assume you haven't done that since.
We did it again. We just went on a trip to Mexico last year, like a year ago, like right now, and we went horseback riding again, and we were joking about it. Like, will this be better? It was also in Mexico. And I had a better time. I was better at it.
Okay.
But I still said, that's the last time. I'm done.
Oh, really? So that was it. You did it 2 times in your marriage and that's it.
That's it. I'm done. No more horseback.
Oh, that is hilarious. That is so funny.
Well, okay. I want people to share something that I love is people when they share like what songs they walk down the aisle to,
Yeah.
what songs were their first wedding songs. So comment and tell us what your first songs were.
Nice.
I love those. And we'll try to share some pictures and videos with you guys of our wedding.
I love that. So, okay, besides that one song, the dance that you had, what was another song that you had? So we can give some people some ideas.
Yeah,
what would you have?
I walked down the aisle to like an instrumental version of Only Exception by Paramore.
Okay.
Which I'm sure you don't know.
Have a clue, but sounds beautiful.
And then kind of our song is Happy by the Daylights. So that was like another one that we did. And the bridesmaids and groomsmen walked down to Viva La Vida and Love Story mix with like the cello guys. It's the piano and cello guys.
Yeah. I love those.
So those were kind of our top songs. What about you?
Well, we're all Christian all the time. So.
Michael W. Smith?
Well, no. Have you heard of this girl named Twyla Paris?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we were, that snapshot of time, we were huge Twyla Paris fans.
Oh,
so
boy.
We had like 3 or 4 of her songs in the wedding. So they're very, ethereal kind of songs, kind of worship songs.
Would you say they stood the test of time, David? Do you still listen to them or are they retired?
Sadly, no, I've not listened to those songs in a long time. We did have some classical songs that she came down to too as well. But yes, the Twyla Paris was kind of the song of choice. So
nice. So share with us, everybody.
Yes.
Comment, share with us. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, if you want to be like up to date on all of our podcasts. And leave us a review. That's how more people find us also on any podcast app. So
absolutely. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Orah, you're awesome.
Thank you.